I think I'll go first this time, because I think I normally let you guys go first. Sega's landmark arcade in Tokyo is permanently closing. So if you don't know about this, in Akihabara area of Tokyo, Sega's actually got two big arcades stationed there, and one of them, which was opened in 2003, is now sadly closing down permanently. You've seen it, you've probably seen it in a lot of pictures if you type in like Sega Akihabara or anything. It's a big tall building, and on the outside you can sort of almost see these staircases for like a glass window, and they've kind of got orange coloured saying Sega down the side and stuff. So it's pretty famous, but sadly it's closing down. So it seems, essentially the increase in home consoles, the whole COVID-19 pandemic, it's basically finally time to say goodbye to this arcade treasure. And sadly, there was little fanfare about it, so it wasn't really a huge announcement, but there was a notice put up saying, notice of closure. Thank you for your continued patronage. We are sorry to announce that this branch, Sega Akihabara Building 2, will be closing. Our last day of operations will be Sunday, August 30th. The entire staff wishes to express from the bottom of our hearts our sincere gratitude at the loving support you have given our establishment for so many years. And this is a very bittersweet pill for me to swallow, because I was almost in that building at one point in my life so back in 2007, I went to the Tokyo Game Show and I covered it for SEGA Nerds. And there's two press days at the start of the week, and then you have two public days. And I went to the two press days, and then I had like a couple of days free, so I could either go back to the public days of the show or go and do my own thing. And the last night of the press days, I went to 3 different press party things, and I got incredibly drunk. And the last thing I remember is being at the Xbox one, which was actually in a really cool part of, there's like another hotel with a swimming pool, and we didn't go swimming, but there's like a whole...
Graham finds himself at the Microsoft party.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. But I just remember there was a couple of Japanese comedians or presenters, and people were laughing, and I had no idea what they were saying, so talking in Japanese, but I was laughing along hysterically. And it was a great night. And then the next day, one of the sort of other journalists I sort of got to know while I was out there, he was like, "Hey, why don't you come with me into Akihabara? We can go and check out some of the shops, to see some of the sites." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." And we sort of organized it the night before. And then the next morning I woke up just like, I do not feel good. This is not a good day. But I really wanted to go into Akihabara. So I got up, I sort of showered, I got dressed, and it was, Japan gets really warm, and it's like quite a hot time of the year. I mean, it wasn't the height of their summer, but it's still pretty warm. And yeah, I was just in Akihabara. We went into a few game shops and stuff. There's a story I can tell you for another day about going into one of the game shops. I was just like, what the fuck? We got some food, got some lunch, and then we went down one end of Akihabara where the shops and stuff are. And then we walked up the other end where like the Sega arcades are and stuff. And we walked into building 1, which we just went in the ground floor in that one. We were sort of in there, and it was pretty cool. We looked around, played a couple of games, and we're like, let's go outside. Let's go and check out what we want to do next. And we're literally standing in the street opposite Sega Akihabara Building 2, seeing the cool stairs. I think I took a couple of photographs, and we were outside it, and then we decided, let's go and see something else. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool. We started walking down the street, and then something just hit me. I was just like, ooh, I do not feel good. I mean, I sort of had a bottle of water, and I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I've got to bail. I've got to go back to the hotel. I feel terrible. Because our hotel was a good half-hour train drive away. It's like on the outskirts and near where the Tokyo Game Show was. So it's not in the center of Tokyo. And I was like, that's okay. I'll go and do my own thing. I'll go and do some sightseeing. And he went off and saw some cool temples and stuff. I think he went to the Akihabara Building 2. He did his own thing for the day. Showed me some pictures later. But I just felt terrible. And in my head, I was like, I could go tomorrow, or I could come back another time. I can come back to Japan anytime, The next day, I actually went to the public event. So I thought I'd check out what the public event is in case I've missed anything. The public days at Tokyo Game Show were insane. Oh my God. Like, at the press events, on the press days, I would queue maybe half an hour maximum to play a game. On the public day, every game was at least 3 hours long, the queues. And I went there, I sort of queued up with one little bit and did not enjoy that at all. And I left, and I was like kind of exhausted. I thought going to Akihabara again, but in the end I didn't. And then I think the next day was my final day, and I left. So I didn't get to go to it then. And in my head, I was like, yeah, I can come back to Japan anytime. It's now been 13 years. I haven't been to Japan since. So
Jeez.
Screw you, past Graham. You an idiot. You ruined it for future Graham. So yeah, I hate past Graham. He's an idiot. So yeah, so that's my news, and that's my personal painful bit of news for that.
My to equal your pain, but probably not entirely at all. My brother is currently overseas, and he was in Okinawa, and he took a picture of, I don't know if it was this one, but one of the Sega arcades from out of the entrance. And I was just like, "Oh, go in there, get me anything, a token, something, anything." He didn't get me anything, so he's bad at getting gifts. I'll say it on the internet. I'll say it to his face. He's not the best gift getter.
That's painful. Oh,
so I've been close hereditarily or whatever.
Yeah.
I've had a relative over there. So
wow.
I'm sure Chris has been there 5 times or something by now.
Yeah. Nope. Never actually been outside of an airport in Japan.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow.
I've stopped in a few times, but unfortunately I always want to go, but one last thing to say about this is that it's interesting because Sega just recently announced that weird cloud-based arcade thing that they were doing. And
Fog gaming, everybody.
Right. I wonder how this kind of factors in that, and how, because essentially Sega probably was paying a high amount for this location, being in Akihabara. It's what is it? Is it fairly close to downtown Tokyo, Graham?
From memory, yes, but I'm not an expert on this.
I would imagine. Okay, so I would imagine then that they're probably paying quite a bit of money for this, and and the fact that COVID hit isn't helping matters. And so I think what they're probably going to do is they don't need, to use this location as some sort of arcade farm to power this fog gaming. Essentially, they could just have a warehouse somewhere where they have all this stuff set up, and that's kind of probably what they're going to do with it. And so even so, they're still kind of supporting the arcade industry with this new technology. They're not really supporting the physical arcade as much. It seems like maybe that's less of somewhat less of a I don't know. What I think would be really neat though is what if Sega took the idea from the arcade what's the new the really cheap arcade units that you could buy at Walmart.
One Up Arcades.
One Up, yeah, One Up Arcade. Imagine if they came out with a something like the One Up Arcade, and you actually build it, put it together, and it runs whatever is the latest of Sega's arcade engine and everything. And you basically stream the games from that to your arcade in your house because it has Wi-Fi in it. And you can actually play the latest Sega arcade games on an arcade in your house.
That would be amazing. Because I guess you wouldn't need to have the actual hardware technology in there because it's streaming it from the cloud. Yeah. Oh.
That was my question about that whole idea initially is what are we playing these games on that you want us to stream from your arcade? We can't assume everyone has a giant plastic seat and a 40-inch screen monitor in front of us,
Yeah, I think if that would be, that could be a really cool thing. They're never going to do it. They'll never do it. But I think that could be I think that would be a much more positive experience to play these games, and much more immersive experience to play these arcade games on an actual arcade versus on your Xbox, or I don't know how they plan on delivering it, whether it's I don't know, Google Stadia. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what? As out of the realm of reality we say it is, and I don't want to say that this is going to happen, but if a year from now nothing's changed regarding COVID, I could see them putting some sort of idea like that into motion.
Yeah.
Like if they see like, oh, we're not leaving our houses ever again. Guess what, everybody? You get an arcade delivered to you by Amazon Japan. I don't know.
I'd be up for that, to be honest, because, you know, there aren't really many arcades around near where I live anymore. The closest one's at my bowling alley, but it's terrible now. It used to be really good. I guess because fewer people go and pay an arcade, and all the games got really expensive. Like, you know, sometimes it's £2 a go, which to me is ridiculous because I remember it used to be like 10p or 20p a go back in.
You mean you don't want to walk up to that doodle jump machine and plop $2 into it to play something free on the phone in your pocket?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And I know some arcade games are really cool and like really impressive technology. But I remember back in the day, I could go and spend like £10 on playing arcade games for like a couple of hours, and I'd be happy. I'd have played quite a decent amount, or even 20 quid. I'd been happy, you know, walk away, be like, I had a good time. But now it's like I pay like a couple of quid for like one quick session. I'm like, this isn't not worth my time or my money right now. So yeah. And anyway, there's not really many arcades around me anyway. So having something like this in my house, I would actually love that idea. That's a great idea, Chris. Go speak to Al, and he can speak to someone at Sega. And
let's get this
just
ball rolling.
Yeah, and while I'm on the phone, where's my Jester stuff?
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.